allegations of corruption or learn more about the fight against corruption.
I know Center office on 22nd Street, Cinco. I am on my way there right now. So, my Liberian people, let's join the fight against corruption. Report all corruption to Center by dialing 4432 or text 0555 722 113 or email alac@cental.org.lr. Let's thank the government and people of Sweden through the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency (SIDA) for providing the money for the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program NIMBA for an additional 3 years, January 2024 to December 2026.
Liberia, our homeland, a future bright we see, with honest hearts and open hands for you and for me. But shadows creep and darkness hides where secrets like to stay. Central steps into the light to chase those clouds away. Shine a light on every corner, clear and bright. Transparency's the guiding star to take us near and far. Accountability, the solid ground where justice can be found. Central sings, Central strives for a Liberia that truly thrives. From ministries to market stalls, from
A pleasant good morning and welcome to another edition of the program Accountability Hour. This program is produced by CENTAR, and CENTAR, in case you do not know, is the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. We are the national chapter for Transparency International, which is the global coalition against corruption with chapters and networks in about 120 countries around the world. My name is Edward Blamo. I am your host, and as well, I'm responsible for media and communications at CENTAR. And this morning, we have folks from the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. We will be talking about prosecution efforts and asset verification, amongst others, at the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. And to do that, we have the chief prosecutor at the LACC, Councillor Bobby W. Livingstone, is here this morning, and we expect to have the executive assistant, program manager at the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, Vivian Akoto, who will be here as well, talking about some of the efforts that have been made in the areas of verification of assets declared at the LACC. But before we do that, we will take a very short break and be right back.
city streets to farms, we're watching close, we're asking all to keep us safe from harms. No more backroom deals and lies, no more corruption sting. With Central standing by our side, a better future we will bring. Shine a light on every corner, clear and bright. Transparency's the guiding star to take us near and far. Accountability, the solid ground where justice can be found. Central sings, Central strives for a Liberia that truly thrives. Central sings, Central strives for a Liberia that truly thrives.
Welcome back to the program Accountability Hour, and as we stated earlier, we have folks from the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. We announced Councillor Bobby W. Livingstone, who is the chief prosecutor at the LACC, is here this morning to talk about prosecution efforts of the LACC. And we also have Ms. Vivian Akoto, who is the executive assistant to the executive chairperson, and as well program manager at the LACC, who will be talking about some of the efforts in terms of assets verification efforts of the LACC. But before we do that, let's let you know shortly what we're doing at Centar in terms of tracking corruption cases. We have this platform called Corruption Case Tracker. In case you are out there, you want to know up-to-date information about what's happening around corruption allegations, prosecution efforts, and different things. All of what you need to know about corruption is available on our online portal, and it's called the Corruption Case Tracker. Together is to just go to Google and just search www.cct.centar.org.lr. Again, the CCT, which stands for Corruption Case Tracker. .centar.org.lr. Once you hit that, you're going to see displayed the corruption case tracker of Centar, and there are a couple of allegations and others on that tracker. You can search by jurisdiction, you can search by category, and different search options. And I just opened one of the allegations, and it says allegations of misappropriation by officials of the Cotton Tree Public School, and there is a case number for that, and it was submitted on the 28th of September 2024. There is a little bit, the amount involved is $55,000 US, and the jurisdiction of is the LACC. And a little summary of that is it was alleged that the amount of $55,000 was allotted in the 2023 national budget and given to the principal and other administrators of the Cotton Tree Public School in District Number 2, Margibi County, for renovation of the school. But the said amount was misappropriated and diverted by the principal and other school officials for their personal benefits. This is just a gist of some of the allegations we have that we've taken from different sources. We take those information from, for example, the media. We have some from the other reports from other partners and the LACC, the FIA, and others, to have you informed about what's happening around corruption, because the LACC is sort of barred by their the statutes to discuss allegations of corruption and others until it is finalized. The investigations are finalized and it goes to prosecution stage. That is why we have the chief prosecutor here at the LACC this morning to talk about some of the efforts that have been made in the areas of prosecution. We now turn to Councilor Livingstone. Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much, Blamo. It's a pleasure to be here. I believe this is my maiden appearance on your program, and also since I assumed the new role as the program manager, chief prosecutor of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the LACC. I want to say that this is a brilliant effort, forging a partnership between the commission and an institution such as accountability center. So this morning we'd like to preface our appearance by saying that the responsibility we come to the duty we've come to execute at the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission is a serious task, but we believe that with the support and cooperation of our colleagues, our bosses at the LACC, we will be doing our diligent effort to ensure that we can bring pride and dignity and also robustly engage those who desire to extort or divert or steal public money. So this is how I like to begin.
Okay, let's turn to Ms. Akoto. Akoto. Let me get it right. And how is it like? You're basically involved with ensuring that assets. There are two very important topics that we're going to be talking about this morning. First, about prosecution, and another about asset verification, because they are two very key parts of ensuring that corruption is wielded out of the society. First and foremost, without prosecution, there's no deterrent. People will just go about and do what they care, and if people are not declaring their assets, or even if they declare their assets and they are not verified to ensure that they ensure the authenticity of those assets, then it's a problem. So let's come to you. What are some of the efforts you're making in terms of verifying assets declared at the LACC?
Well, thank you, Blamo, for always having LACC here on the platform. We appreciate Centa and the work that they do. So in general, we're going to be talking about prosecution, asset declaration and verification, and then the newly established service delivery desk at the LACC.
Okay.
But as it relates to verification, few months ago, and the last time we were on your show, we talked about a pilot phase of verification process that we began at the LACC. And that pilot phase constitute 175 past and present government officials, and we are concluding the report right now. The last time I was on the show, I spoke about the collaboration LACC has with other institutions, inclusive of LRA, inclusive of LLA, Business Registry, and the FIA. So all these people, collaborate with LACC in the verification process, and they have to send in their reports. So they have sent in their reports. We are at the stage right now where we are collating the reports from the different institutions to finalize. So in the next 2 weeks, like I was saying to you earlier, in the next 2 weeks, the LACC is going to be coming up with the pilot phase report from the verification process.
Okay, so let's come to Councillor Livingstone. I mean, a lot of people have complained, and like the LACC is not doing enough in terms of prosecution, and we're not hearing, so much about people going to jail or people being taken to court for some of those multiple allegations of corruption that we have, some of which we have on our platforms. How is it so far in terms of prosecution at the LACC?
Well, I would like to specifically speak to the moment from the period I have been at the commission.
Okay.
I assumed the new responsibility on the 1st of August 2025. Since my the assumption of my new role, I have been working with a couple of investigative reports, and those have now reached the stage where indictments were drawn and true bail was also obtained.
Okay.
So as we speak, when I arrived there, I saw the case with the Legis. The Legis case is already there, involving former officials of Legis in the immediate past administration. We also have a case involving the LRRC under the current administration. We have a case involving Local under the current administration, and of course, of late you heard of the the former boss of the Liberia Telecommunications Authority. Yesterday we were able to procure a new indictment, and he was brought back to court under the auspices of the indictment that we were able to secure just about 2 days ago. So let me say this. Our current structure in terms of prosecution has its own their own challenge, or I would say challenges.
Okay.
First and foremost, LCC is competing with other institutions at the criminal code C, particularly the Ministry of Justice, in terms of how cases will be docketed and or be heard. So, for example, we deal specifically with corruption-related cases. we have the Ministry of Justice. You know, I was immediate past Director of Financial Crimes at the Ministry of Justice. So I can say to you, basically, we are. It's almost like it's a bit rancorous because they are pushing to have the cases heard. We also are pushing to have our cases heard. So sometimes we are settling. Say, look, as you're hearing one case from the Financial Crime Unit of Justice Ministry, we can be hearing one other case from LCC. So as you speak now, we're fighting to see the last term of court, which was the May term.
Can you elevate the microphone a little bit, Council?
The last term of court, when we had, we didn't hear any particular case from LCC. I'm talking about the May term because I was there, but in my capacity as head of the prosecution unit, financial crimes unit, Ministry of Justice. So that in itself slows the progress that you make with prosecution. Our conviction rate is so negligible at this current stage. So the advocates say to have a fast track court to specifically deal with these matters of corruption cases cannot be overemphasized.
Okay.
So as we speak now, currently those cases are named earlier. None has begun yet.
Wow.
Yes, we are fighting and laboring and trying to traverse the terrain of the court to see how best we can have at least the latest case put on trial or to begin this term. We're trying to do everything to persuade the presiding assigned circuit judge, Judge Fakai, who just assumed his role as the newly assigned circuit judge in our court, to see how he can put on a matter for us. So by and large, I would say currently we have 4 active indictments. We'll also be able to procure an indictment in Bapolo in the heavy duty machine case. We've also been able to procure an indictment in the Lofa University case. That those are active processes that are on, and we are making sure that we can have the trial commence in those 2 areas, in Bapolo and in Vonjama, and then put on at least 1 case here in Monrovia. That will take the number up to at least 3 cases, hopefully for this August term of court. And then also before I take my initial break, the challenge we also have gradually, if we have the fast track court established, it will be critical to give them to put in the structure like we have with the sex criminal code E, so that they don't have this every 42 days term. They can run for 2 terms a year and be able to exhaustively deal with cases and bring them to the logical conclusion. And until we can begin to have convictions and then have assets to be retrieved or recovered from those crimes, we are yet to really start to nip corruption in this part.
Okay.
So I'd like to stop here quickly.
Yes, I mean, there are a couple of other indictments aside from the LTA, the Dr. Isaac Porter, president of the Lofa University stuff, and the others, including Superintendent Sam Kizina. But there's another one, the Nukara, Rostolin, or Swakoko Dennis. How far is that?
Yeah, as I said, once the defendant or defendants are brought under the jurisdiction, because the first thing is when you secure an indictment, a true bail. That is, you've established at the level of the grand jury that the probable cause exists for them to have the people charged. Brought into an indictment, and then once they are served when the indictment goes to the court, a writ of arrest is automatically issued upon them, bringing them under the jurisdiction of the court. Okay, at the level of NOCA, that has been done.
Okay,
they've been brought under the jurisdiction of the court. They filed a criminal appearance bond. We've accepted to the bond. We have not concluded the status because they're supposed to file what we call justification of the bond. So when we resume the trial, we're going to, those are all, I mean, basically pre-trial motions. They filed a bond, we accepted the bond, they filed justification, and then once that is concluded, that means we satisfy with the bond, we move on to the commencement and trial, where we do the discovery, serve them the copy of our evidence, and then we begin to prepare for our full-scale trial. That has not happened in the case, the ones I have named.
Okay.
All right. So they filed pre-trial motion, including motion for severance. A couple of them have not been heard. Even the latest case, we have a couple of motions. So we are now endeavoring, along with the court, to have the assignment to consolidate all those motions, because each of them have all of them filed for severance, for this, for that, change of venue, and the rest of the things. So once we conclude those pre-trial motions and have them laid to rest, then we have a clear direction as to when the trial will actually commence.
Okay.
And it's upon commencement of trial you can predict likely that the case will end this period of time.
Okay.
And then you are hopeful to obtain conviction, and then do the post conviction. And you know that if we obtain, like in the PPAL case, the LSC was able to prevail in the Planned Parenthood case.
Yep.
In I think that was in the February term.
Yep.
Hopefully, and now they took an appeal, and that's another whole process. So we have to take a whole comprehensive outlook and review of how we intend to tackle corruption, looking at all of some of the challenges we have with our legal architecture, and make them to be what we call compatible with the realities that we want to actually fight corruption, and then put those kind of instruments in place. But as it stands, there still remain small bottlenecks. Okay. And we can only be hopeful that maybe on a term basis we hear one case, we hear two cases, and that is quite in my mind, I would say negligible in the fight that we want
Okay,
to.
we'll come right back to you, but then let's go to Ms. Koto in terms of assets verification and the compliance level so far. I mean, I know you have a press conference, or you have a statement upcoming in terms of the numbers of people who you verified and others. Well, how do you look at the compliance level so far, as you go about doing those verifications?
So we've had, I would say, 90% compliance, because what happens first is that we wrote a communication to those we intended to verify, informing them that LSCC is embarking on this process.
Okay.
And 90% of them responded, and we have worked along with them, because to be able to verify assets that were declared, now we don't have an e-system set up, which I'm going to talk about too, because we are moving into that 2026. So we had to do on-site verification. And to be able to do on-site verification, those people that you are verifying, they will have to comply, because we will need somebody to take us to their properties and all that, especially those who declare land, houses, and all that. For that of the business registration, or that of the bank accounts, or that of vehicles that was declared, we were able to do that through Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Land Authority, and then the FIA as well. So that's why I said previously that we are at the concluding stage. We are consolidating the reports that came in from the different partners that we collaborate with.
Okay, so let's come back to Councillor Livingstone with this issue of challenges. Before you joined the LSCC, this been this challenge of insufficient lawyers or prosecutors to sort of tackle those huge number of allegations and investigations and indictments. So, have you solved that problem? I mean, are you confident now, or do you have sort of at least some manpower enough to tackle the challenges ahead in terms of prosecution?
We cannot say with certainty that we do. All we have to do, we've gone in the system, we've assessed the whole legal system within the commission, we have put together a plan and a robust plan that, working with our bosses there, and with the provision of the requisite funds. But again, we have to take it one at a time, given all the constraints that we have and other priorities. So key among that would be how do we fast track? I think one of the things that we're looking towards and putting forward is how we can have a roving prosecutorial system.
Okay.
That would mean that we have a team dedicated, have the logistics available to move to wherever we have a situation where, in, for example, now we got Bapulu coming, we got Lofa University. The distances involved with going to Bapulu or going to Fonjama in particular will pose a challenge. So with a roving team, we have them positioned to have the trial, and then we can also now have the other team at headquarters to be able to navigate the ones that will be in proximity to or contiguous to Montserrat County, like Magibi, Bomi, and those kind of things. So that's a challenge. Currently, the number we have is quite is disproportionate to the number of cases that we have. For example, if I were to go to Babulu today to handle the case there, back home, back in Monrovia, we almost have a situation where maybe we only have a single lawyer in Monrovia or something like that. So that is a serious matter, and I think the commission is looking into that based on the information I have in terms of preparation for the coming fiscal year, to be able to put additional lawyers. We are trying to see if we can ask for full additional lawyers to join the team. And they're going to be highly qualified, competent lawyers, because we need people who are hands on deck, people who are going to be able to do the job. This is not a playtime. We're here to do serious matter. Our hands have to be on deck. We have to be as swift and as responsive, as meticulous as possible as we take on a new task. And we come with that commitment and that dedication to do so. And we believe that the commission is with us and going to back us in that process. So that's where we are presently.
Yes, I wanted to. I don't know what are your laws. I know you are barred from discussing allegations, but there are some that have been accused, and we just all of a sudden don't hear much about that anymore. There is an allegation there was an allegation which is also on our platform from the national. There is this WASH commission something, and we haven't heard a lot. Are there situations where people will come and concede and say, "Well, let's settle," and then do you talk about those? Are those part of what you talk about?
Look, let me the way we do prosecution. If we cite you for example, we cite you for a conference, and in the conference, even in a normal trial, there's something called pre-trial conference.
Okay.
A judge normally will not start the case and just go directly to trial. Okay. They will call for pre-trial conference. During the pre-trial conference, it is an opportunity for the parties to see how they can mitigate or narrow the issues, and even possibly prevent a normal litigation. Okay. Now, at that stage, if that is resolved, we simply just say that it was resolved at the pre-trial level. It's not going to be something you have, because, for example, there's no intent here to unnecessarily put people into the public space or public limelight because if there's no reason to do so. So, and again, when a complaint is made or forwarded to the LACC, it is the beginning of a process. It is not an end in itself. That is to say, the facts have to be established. And if the facts are established, it will be based upon the established facts that there is a probable cause that then will move to the next stage after investigation and findings that will now be forwarded to the prosecution department. And based on the evidence, If we see lapses still, we'll send it back and say, look, go and correct this part and go and do this. But the new framework we are working under, we are going to put a system in place that when the investigation is being done, it's going to be concurrently done in a way that the department will be involved with the investigation to try to pinpoint or extract any possible defects that will affect prosecution, so that when it comes up finally, it's a material ready for us straight to go to indictment and move on to the next stage. So cases that you have heard about that probably have what we call faded away apparently may not necessarily mean that they have been forgotten, but there could be phases where more detail or information may be sought.
Okay.
And until you complete such, you cannot come prematurely to the public and begin to make publicity out of that. And our job is a dedicated job. You're also trying to protect people's reputation in as much as you're trying to prosecute them. If there's a reason to come public, there will be a reason to do that. If there's no reason to do so, we have to keep it within the confines of the of where it's supposed to be kept.
Okay, let's go to Ms. Koto. It's more administrative side of the LSCC. What are you doing? Because the fight against corruption requires collective approach and active citizens participation and everyone involved and stakeholders and others. What are you doing to ensure that citizens play a role and everyone plays a role, the stakeholders and others play that role in the fight against corruption? What are some of the efforts?
Thank you for that question, Edward. So right now we have newly established or set up a desk at the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. And in the coming days, we're going to do more awareness around that desk. It's called the Service Delivery Desk.
Okay.
And, the fight against corruption is not just government thing. It involves the citizens as well. When people steal money from government, it deprives the citizens of rights that they are supposed to have to services. For example, good road, good education, health care, and all that. So we have decided to establish this service delivery desk to give the citizens and stakeholders the opportunity to interact with the LACC. And the importance of this whole service delivery desk is to be able to bridge the gap between the LACC and the citizens.
Okay.
And to also make the LACC accessible to the citizens as well. There is this new law that was passed, I think it's 2022. The Whistleblower and the Witness Protection Act has been passed. And as I was driving here to this interview this morning, I heard the advert play by you from Centaur that says the government is not really taking action when it comes to setting up the whistleblower and the witness protection unit.
Yep.
But no, at Ministry of Justice right now, this unit is being set up.
Okay.
And as
It's
we
being
speak,
set up.
Yes. As we speak right now, there are interviews going on for the head of that unit.
Okay.
So the government has taken steps, for that. But back to what I was saying regarding the service delivery desk, we want an opportunity where whistleblowers can be free and can have a space, a confidential space, where they are able to report corruption.
Okay.
We had instances where whistleblowers, some of them, they do not want to be known. They want to be confidential. So this service delivery desk, one of the reasons why it's established at the LACC is to be able to have whistleblowers and whistleblowers report corruption to LACC freely and in a safe space.
Okay.
So this person is going to be a liaison between the public and the LACC.
Okay.
We have an existing email address that have been set up for people to freely report corruption. It's called the service delivery at LACC service delivery at gmail.com.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Service delivery at gmail.com. So you can be able to reach out to the LACC via that means. We also have the hotline, which is 5222, that you can also call in to report corruption. So this person is going to, besides reporting corruption, for example, maybe you are a high school student, or maybe you in the public space, or maybe you have an organization that is into corruption activity, anti-corruption activities, or whatever sort of whatever information you want to gather from the LACC. This text will also be there to give you any information regarding the LACC that you will want.
Okay.
In as much as we have our website very active, where we have all our reports and almost all the activities we do is on our Facebook page and our website as well. This desk will also have all the information that you will be needing. For example, if you want a hard copy of our report, you can be able to get it from this desk as well.
Okay.
We are an integrated institution. There is nothing to hide. So it's basically a desk that would bridge the gap between the citizens and the LACC.
Okay, you're listening to Accountability Hour. This program is produced by CENTAR, and CENTAR is the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. This is where we hold our leaders accountable. This is where we promote active citizens' participation in the fight against corruption. And this is also an activity of our National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program, which is funded entirely by the government and people of Sweden through the Swedish International Development Corporation Agency, SIDA. We are now ready to open the lines. In case you're out there, you want to interact with the folks from the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, you can do so by calling 0555-995-995 or 0777-700-995. Again, 0555 995-995 or 0777-700-995. Do that and get through. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning to your studio guest.
Let's hear you, and please, move away from the monitor.
Yeah, sorry, I'm Fasu.
Go ahead.
Fasu